Here we are, my friends, getting you ready for the weekend. We've covered the football, rugby, golf we talked about. We've got the weather on the way from the Met Office, but right now we do this every Friday at around this time. Delighted to welcome back to the show. Absolutely live. It's our mate Van Connor with 1, 2, 3 Freeview film recommendations for the weekend. I match history with my three, and you take your choice. Good morning, Van. Good to talk to you again. And I must say, your second choice, which is coming up, was going to be mine, and you got there first, so I've gone for another horror channel movie up slightly after yours, but let's start with your first recommendation. Where should we be looking today, according to you, Van? How's your week been, first of all? Did you see the new Mission Impossible film? Oh, no, Top Gun, the new Top Gun movie.
Alas, no, I am going to the charity premiere of Top Gun this next week. I can't wait, though. I mean, chance to get back into the danger zone, Mr. Ross. How could I possibly turn
there's a review I saw in the Times today. I thought that was breaking some kind of embargo. They may have dressed it up as not a review, but they are, shall we say, enthusiastic, to put it mildly, and that's the Times. So look forward to hearing about your trip to see Tom Cruise next week. Let's start with your first film recommendation for today, please, Van.
Yes, I'll take us to Malibu first and foremost, then, for the 2017 feature film reboot of Baywatch, starring Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron alongside Alexandra Daddario, Kelly Rohrbach, the brilliant Priyanka Chopra Jones, who no one thought would ever be a good villain, and Ilfenesh Hedera. This one's kind of a bit of a Starsky and Hutch kind of an adaptation. You remember Todd Phillips' 2004 adaptation of Starsky and Hutch?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Much more of a comedy direction than the original 70s one. You've got a similar treatment here with Baywatch, which kind of casts off the straight-faced action thriller aesthetic of the 90s series and goes for more of a straight action comedy, obviously playing to the talents of Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron. The idea here is that the Baywatch lifeguarding crew that we know and love from the show find themselves in the crosshairs of a corrupt rich property developer who owns the country club next door, played by Priyanka Chopra, who is running, a drug operation on the beach. And only these lifeguards seem to care about it. But of course, it's not their job to stop them. As you'll hear brilliantly in this clip, the film is on tonight, 11:05 on Channel 4. It's the perfect time for it because it's a great Friday night beer and a pizza action comedy. It's a really, really good time. Forget the Baywatch branding. Just go and watch this for a beach set action comedy starring...
I'm pleased you said that, because I avoided seeing this at the cinema because I thought, there was an element of inbuilt spoof anyway on Baywatch. Yeah. So while I like the Starsky and Hutch reboot, because Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller are always great together, actually, I thought that was maybe owing too much to the comedy side, because people forget some of the Starsky and Hutches were kind of very gritty and urban indeed. So this one gets it right, does it? It's more just using the Baywatch and the beach as a kind of setting and trying to trade on the brand name.
Effectively, yes. It is. This ain't your dad's Baywatch. This is more a slightly younger skewing one. It certainly has a lot more going in the sort of political correctness department, even though it's not all the way there. It does have some fun with the meta text of Baywatch, but it does work a lot more successfully for my money than Starsky and Hutch, even though weirdly Starsky and Hutch made infinitely more money at the box office. This didn't make a huge amount, made a couple $100 million, but not a great amount, not enough to generate the franchise I think they were hoping for. Like I say, though, very good time. Worth seeing it for Kelly Rohrbach's comedic timing, I think. She's an underrated comedic performer. I think she's a swimsuit model originally. But I've got a clip for you. This is the crew being told off by the local police.
Here we go.
You turned the canals into the goddamn X Games.
Yeah, that's because we were in lifeguard pursuits.
Oh, okay. My bad. Except for there's no such thing as lifeguard pursuit. Police do pursuits. When you do it, it's just some guys chasing some other guys. No offense.
None taken.
How do I explain this so that you people understand?
You people? You people?
Oh, you don't get to say that. You're just Dan.
Right on.
Come on, brother.
Look, even if you were police, which you're not, and even if this was your jurisdiction, which it isn't, what you did would still be totally illegal.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a good thing we're not police then.
Very good. And that's Channel 4 tonight, 11:05. Is that right?
Channel 4, 11:05 tonight. Like I say, perfect Friday night beer and pizza movie. Have a good time.
Well, you might want to double bill, because if you go to Film 4 at 9 o'clock tonight, we've spoken about this film many times. I make no apology about returning to it again. Can't remember if I actually recommended it, or we must have done, because we've spoken about the continuity, bloopers and the errors, but also we mustn't forget, directed by Mark L. Lester, sadly not the man who starred as Oliver. Wouldn't it be great if Oliver, as a little boy, wanted to direct Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commander? That's my recommendation, of course. In it he plays, you'll hear it in the trailer. The trailer sets it out brilliantly. All you need is this 25 seconds of exposition. But Arnie, retired Special Forces, or is he? Kind of mercenary, but always on the side of right. Some people with a grudge against him kidnapped, guess what, his daughter. Big mistake, of course it is. Some great one-liners. It's probably Arnie's best film, I think, for one-liners. Deliberately crafted, kind of, a Total Recall's not bad. This, I think, is my favourite. Some great fight scenes and there's great action and incredibly huge body count. I mean, is there any way I can find out on the net what the definitive answer is? Because my son and I used to try and count the victims of this, because we saw it together. He probably saw it when he was way too young. And we kind of, how many died? Was it 3 or 4 when he did that? There's one scene where he seems to kill about 80 people. He comes out of a shed, armed only with like a power drill blade and stuff he's found inside a strimmer, and he takes out an army. I mean, it's ludicrous and over the top. It's a great fun, mad, fun, violent romp. This, I think it was in the top 10 grossing films of the year when it came out in 1985 as well.
Entirely possible. Commando, absolutely banger for continuity. Incidentally, if you would like an answer on your question, I would recommend going on YouTube and checking out Oliver Harper's retrospective on Commando. Absolutely admissible stuff. Great movie starring one of my favourite character names of all time. Arnold Schwarzenegger is John Matrix, Colonel John Matrix.
Of course he's a colonel.
Of course he is. His daughter, incidentally, is played by then, I think, about 12 years old, Alyssa Milano, who goes on to become the physical inspiration for Ariel the Little Mermaid before, Charmed and things like that as well. Nowadays, it's a political activist. But the film itself, absolutely brilliant. Dan Hedaya, great villain. Vernon Wells, great villain. Ray Dawn Chong, very shrieky but very quintessential 80s sidekick. And, of course, Sully, who gets one of the best deaths in all of 80s cinema. When you said about Arnie's one-liners, this is probably his best movie, hands down, for one-liners.
Sully, I know I said I'd kill you last. I lied. Spoiler alert. And then he drives off in that yellow Porsche, which mysteriously is suddenly undented, having been dented badly in the scenes before. A great mad film. Made a lot of money. It's on 9 o'clock tonight on Film 4, just before Van's recommendation, Baywatch over on Channel 4. It's Commando from 85. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
They hunted him down.
Colonel, we went to a lot of trouble to find you.
They murdered his friends. And they took the only thing he would kill for.
If you want your kid back, then you gotta cooperate. Right? Wrong.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
As if in a great line, it's the daughter. It shows you the age. He says, "You like this boy, George? I call him Girl George." Probably ain't right. That's probably works on that particular bomb mo. Okay, where are we going next? This is the one that I was going to go for, and you gazumped me. You picked me at the post on the Horror Channel tomorrow night.
Well, this is a strange one because the Horror Channel this next week are showing not one but 2 films by this writer-director duo, Jonathan Millett and Kerry Murnion, who recently directed Scream 5 and are directing the upcoming Scream 6. But this week on the Horror Channel, starting with my pick for Saturday night, which is Becky, you can also, I think it's Wednesday night, see Cooties. Both horror movies from these guys, and they are absolutely brilliant. Becky, Cooties is more of a comedy. This is also quite comedically tinged. The idea here is you've got a 13-year-old girl played by Lulu Wilson, who's at her family's sort of vacation home with her dad, the dad's partner, and basically they are besieged by a group of 3 escaped convicts, led by a neo-Nazi Kevin James, which has to be seen to be believed because I didn't think he was capable of it, and he's great fun in this, who take the family hostage without realizing the little girl is present, leaving her the sole person who can take them out and rescue the family. And she only has basically school supplies and household bits with which to defend herself. So what you effectively get is hyper-vigilant survivalist Home Alone with a 13-year-old girl and a neo-Nazi Kevin James. It's damn good fun. It's an absolute ride. It is gory as hell, and it's going to make people very uncomfortable, but at the same time very amused, I think, this one. This is on 9 p.m. on Saturday night. Again, great time for it on the Horror Channel. Do check this one out.
Now, I've seen this one. I've not seen Cooties. Aren't Cooties what the Americans call like head lice or bugs on the human body or something?
Cooties is Elijah Wood and an all-star cast are school teachers, and the kids have tainted chicken nuggets that turn them into flesh-eating zombies.
Oh, that sounds like a film. Okay, but I'm looking forward to Becky as well. I saw that when it came out the first time. It's a biggie. It's on, did you say 9 o'clock on the Horror Channel tomorrow night?
9 o'clock Saturday night on the Horror Channel. I think it's a great time slot for it.
There we go. And what clip have you got for us?
So I've got a clip for you. This is the usual face-off across the microphones, kind of, good guy threatened bad guy kind of setup. This is your Hans and John McClane moment.
Here we go then. It's on tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on the Horror Channel. Becky, be afraid.
Call the cops. They're on their way.
Hello, Becky.
Better start running. That fat one, he's gonna like me to need a head start or something.
You didn't call anyone, sweetheart. I have your cell phone.
So I walked to our neighbors, the Griffins. I used their phone. They have a gun, too. So you better leave.
Great stuff, that is. So that's tomorrow night. And again, I've gone for another Horror Channel selection tomorrow. I'm going to go for Becky. Mine's just after midnight tomorrow, but I think we can include it as a Saturday. It's from 1983, directed by John Carpenter, based, of course, on, yes, another best-selling Stephen King book. It is a story about the wonderful old, I think it's a Plymouth Fury car, somehow possessed by the spirit either of the devil or of a demon, and a young guy gets it, and he's been kind of bullied at school, the usual setup, and somehow the car transforms him into this kind of psychopathic, almost Fonzie-type 50s character, although it's set in 80s America, and things don't end very well for the people around him. They might not end well for him either, to watch the film to find out. But again, this made money at the time, but I think people kind of still look down a bit on it. It's directed by John Carpenter. People, I think, look down on Carpenter a bit because he made such kind of almost homages to 50s great niche films, like The Great Western, which is Assault on Precinct 13, some of the great horror films. I think it's a really overlooked John Carpenter classic, this one.
Absolutely, this is a benchmark film. It's one of those films, one of those adaptations, really, Christine, that's kind of the definitive one that we don't really appreciate because the trope has kind of been done to death at this stage. We kind of forget the source material, which really is Christine, and obviously this adaptation of it. But the idea of the haunted car, effectively, has been done. So I mean, this is even done nowadays as episodes of Star Trek. I've literally seen an episode of Star Trek Voyager that does Christine with a space shuttle, I think, and Tom Paris. Incidentally, we mentioned Baywatch earlier. Baywatch alum in this was, I believe, the female lead in this adaptation of Christine's Alexandra Paul.
Oh, yes.
Who's, Stephanie Holden from the 90s. It was the second lead in the Baywatch 90s series. Really great movie, this. The car is just seared into my memory, I think. I couldn't tell what the car is, but I could draw it from memory. I think
we'll find out. It's mentioned in the trailer. It's a cracking old film. It stars Keith Gordon, who also worked with Brian De Palma, who coincidentally made another brilliant horror film, of course, from around earlier than this era, the great film Carrie, which was marvellous. The first version, fantastic film. So here we go. It's on just about midnight tomorrow evening, so it's into Sunday morning, but don't hold that against me. Called Christine from 1983. Here's the trailer.
She is seductive. She is passionate. She is possessive. She is pure. Evil. She is Christine, a 1958 Plymouth Fury, possessed by hell. Her previous owner is not alive to warn her present one. Once she lures you behind the wheel, you will be hers, body and soul. There is no place you can hide, no place you can run.
No place you can run without phoning the AA or the RAC, and they won't help you with Christine. So that's my second recommendation. My third one, though, is a more recent classic. I thought it was more recent. In fact, it's from 1990. I can't believe, this was effectively, okay, it appeared in Nightmare on Elm Street. It doesn't end well for him. But this was effectively one of the big breakthrough movies of Johnny Depp. A reminder that on his day and on his game, he's one of our great actors still. Edward Scissorhands. Tim Burton directed, of course. From a story by Tim Burton. I think he may have I don't think he had a hand in the screenplay, but he oversaw everything. An amazing cast this has got, including Deanne Wiest. Often worked with, Woody Allen back. Alan Arkin's in this as well, of course he is. Mm-hmm. And even Vincent Price, which is, because they showed it with, some wonderful people in this. It's a marvellous kind of American Gothic film. There's a clue in the title. Edward is a boy who's kind of being put together by a mad scientist who, mad scientist snuffs it before he finishes him off. And he hasn't done his hands, and for some reason best known to the mad scientist, he's left him with scissors for hands, great big blades, and that turns him into something of a local legend for haircuts and hedge cutting, topiary. It is as surreal and strange as it sounds. It's got a wonderful vision of a kind of David Lynch nightmare suburbia, but a kind of benign nightmare. And I think it's still I think it's unique in American cinema from that era, because it is basically poetry on the screen, isn't it? Something Jean Cocteau might have directed had he gone to Hollywood.
I mean, hands down, I think it's still, to this day, Tim Burton's finest film. It's also the answer to the question, what do you do if you've just made the biggest film ever? Because this is what happened. Tim Burton had made Batman. He'd made the very first Batman. He had broken all the box office records. He'd delivered a film on the scale no one had ever seen before. And his reward was to do whatever he wanted. So he decided he wanted to make Frankenstein, his own version of. He got a TV actor, a relatively hot up-and-coming TV actor from 21 Jump Street at the time, and the rest is history. It's worth noting as well, Edward Scissorhands was originally Tom Cruise. However, Tom Cruise was kind of shown the door because he wouldn't stop asking inane and stupid questions. Apparently, he had a weird obsession with how Edward Scissorhands went to the bathroom. I must say, you know, if you weren't circumcised before you went to the bathroom with Scissorhands, you might be afterwards. So we had a point there, I think, Tom Cruise. Also, I think Tom Hanks was approached and Gary Oldman turned it down as well. Very different films. I think it went around.
Yeah. Thankfully, it ended up with the man himself, Johnny Depp. It's on Sunday afternoon, 4:25 on Great Movies, another Freeview channel. And there's a burst of the trailer. It's when Diane Weiss, the neighbour, and again it shows you how perfect this is. She turns up at the old local haunted house, never having even been inside before. Why would you? To sell them Avon products. Avon calling, she says. And only Edward Scissorhands is home. Here we go.
Hello? Why are you hiding back there? You don't have to hide from me. I'm as harmless as cherry pie. Those are your hands? Those are your hands. I think you should just come home with me.
Joyce, I just saw this strange guy driving with Peg. Did you get a good look at it?
Hi! Scissors.
Whoa! Heck of a handshake you got there, Ed.
Kim, this is Edward, who's going to live with us.
Well, this must be quite a change for you, right, Ed?
Those things are cool.
Can I bring show and tell on Monday?
He's a highly imaginative character. It seems clear that his awareness of what we call reality is radically underdeveloped.
Absolutely, a great film that is. And of course, I think it was the beginning of his relationship, which didn't end, for a few years later it ended with him and Winona Ryder, and he got the famous tattoo saying Winona Forever, and when they split up, he changed it into Wino Forever. Anyway, on that bombshell, what's your final recommendation for this week, Van?
Well, I think, weirdly, you and I have seemingly swapped, without even speaking to her, we seemingly swapped what would have been our standard Sunday picks, because it seems like Edward Scissorhands is the kind of thing I would have gone for. And my pick, Eddie the Eagle, is the kind of thing you would have suggested.
Oh, yes, Tara Egerton, great film that is.
Exactly. So Dexter Fletcher's biopic of Eddie the Eagle, starring Taron Egerton and Hugh Jackman. And it is, of course, the story of, well, the worst Olympic athlete, I think, on the books. Brilliantly played by Egerton, who's he's the Olympic skier who just can't ski effectively. You would know the true story better than I.
It's a triumph of hope over aspiration and ambition. Over talent, but he endeared himself to the nation because he was the beginner. And I mean, skiing was and probably still is more a middle class thing. You know, you tend not to get working class skiing. I'm not making a big point there, but so he kind of bumbles into it. He was, completely lacking any social graces, very kind of awkward socially, but he loved the notion of flying freely and skiing. He took his love, and Hugh Jackman actually really is great with him. They're a great double act, aren't they? The Tara Egerton and Hugh Jackman is his kind of, slightly, shall we say, kind of, ne'er-do-well leading a rackety old life, ski instructor in this one. So a lovely film. This is, of course, and they say Dexter Fletcher, formerly years ago, the press gang on the BBC, and then he turned up in Lockstock as the knife-obsessed chef, turns up in this as a director and makes a fine old fist of it. When's this one on, Van?
So this is perfectly timed, Sunday afternoon on Film 4 at 6:40. So 27 on Sunday. Perfect sort of post-tea time, sit down with the family, enjoy a good snow-set, hilltop jumping ski comedy with just a great double act in Jackman and Egerton.
A true story. It's a heartwarming story as well. It's very heartwarming.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a clip for you. This is Eddie the Eagle basically telling his parents he's off. He's going to be an Olympic athlete.
Here we go then.
Mum, where's my purple rucksack?
Under the stairs.
Thank you.
Why, are you going camping?
No. Going to Germany. Coach leaving very soon.
That's Eddie the Eagles on the Sunday afternoon slot on the Film 4, of course. And Van Connor and Rebecca Perfect are available on their off-screen podcast, available on good podcast providers. Your 7-day guide to films and TV. Coming up, we've got the weather from the Met Office, and then Paul Coit.